This question spans a range of organic chemistry, one or two other bits thrown in as well. It's 10 marks in total, going as far as part D. So have a go at it. When you've tried, review the rest of the video. Here's parts A and B, part C, and finally part D. Okay, so taking a look at part A, we have got here a sample that we want to prove is pent-1-ene. It's a very straightforward question. It's asking you if you know the test for alkenes. And hopefully you've recognised that you had bromine or bromine water. For the observation, you don't just want to say it decolorises. It's good to say what it started as. So it's an orange solution and it goes colourless, not clear. And for part B, name a reagent that you could use to identify that it's pentanoic acid. So this is the test for carboxylic acids. I've put down here sodium hydrogen carbonate, but you could pick a different hydrogen carbonate or a metal carbonate. And when you add those, you get an acid carbonate reaction. And that means CO2 is given off. So you would see effervescence. Moving on to part C, we have got tests for pentanal, so test for aldehydes. And as you're going through this, you've got two choices. You could have spoken about toluenes, and if you use toluenes with an aldehyde, you would get a silver mirror forming on the test tube. You could have opted to go for phthalings, and if you went for phthalings, the blue solution would have ended up containing a brick red precipitate. By precipitate, we mean a solid forming in the solution. On to part D, this is a 4 marker and we're proving why this spectrum is not pentan-1-ol, pentanoic acid, or pent-1-ene. Now the first thing I would say is the presence of the C double bond O at 1680 to 1750, that very pronounced peak almost touching the bottom, tells us it can't be pentan-1-ol. But also we've got no OH peak that we would have in conjunction with it if it were pentanoic acid. So it cannot be pentanoic acid either. Now, looking back at whether it's an alcohol or not, we've also not got an OH peak at 3230 to 3550. Any OH peak, whether it's acid or alcohol, is a very broad peak on the left-hand side and really stands out. So you would recognise it. But we know that it's not pentan-1-ol. And finally, if it were an alkene, there would be a peak at 1620 to 1680 for the CC double bond. It isn't there, and therefore we know it's not pent-1-ene. It's not an alkene. A question like this really works better if you're systematic in going through step by step disproving each one.